All right, guys, let's move on to college football. We got a lot going. Maction has started, so we'll have football pretty much every day for a couple weeks now. So it's a great time of year. I know, Big Man, you love it. You want to start us off with a bet on or a fade team?
I'll bet on. We actually saw him last night, but I think going forward, I think we saw on display offensively they're the best I've ever seen. Ohio, as far as in Frank Solich's career, this offense is humming. I mean, they just did whatever they wanted last night. It's going to get more difficult. I mean, they got Akron and they got Toledo next week, but they're 7-2 against the spread. They've covered 6 of 7 as a favorite, and they are really well coached. Solich is a great coach. The only concern with me with them, and particularly in some of these bigger games coming up, their pass defense has some problems. That Toledo game could be a high-scoring football game. But everyone's back healthy now for Ohio. Poppy White's back. Brandon Cope's back. Ouellette's running well. They're a team that I thought would win this side of the division. I just thought overall they were the best team. And they have a quarterback now in Nathan Rourke. Rourke has been very good for them. They did what they had to do last night. They withstood a lot in that game. Miami of Ohio kind of got some momentum, erased a 14-point lead. We're kind of hanging there a couple different times. But Donnie, Ian, a lot of us watched the MAC pretty much every game. They've scored 40 points or more in 6 different games this year. This offense is really, really good. I think the best I've seen from them.
Yeah, hats off to you, Big Man. I remember you calling out the Bobcats. I liked them as well, but you were really strong on that. And it sounds like they've found a quarterback, which I think held them back last year.
Well, yeah, they've always had that, that musical chair as a quarterback. I mean, we remember the Darius Vicks, the J.D. Spragues, the Quentin Maxwell even. I mean, they've had that problem for a long time. I mean, the last quarterback they've had there that was good was Tyler Tettleton about 5 years ago. So they haven't had consistency at quarterback for a while, and it looks like they do now. Rourke's going to be a good player there for a couple years.
Yeah, I try not to remember half of those guys because they suck.
Right.
Exactly. Hey, Big Man, I want to ask you a question about that game in particular. Did you notice the heavy line movement against Ohio? What'd you think about that?
Yeah, people ask me about that. I don't listen. I mean, Gus Ragland's a nice quarterback, but he's not moving the line, and he wasn't going to play to begin with. So I think it was really just steam on Miami of Ohio. I mean, you don't see that much. I mean, it was the game yesterday where I think a lot of people were involved in, but no, you don't see that very often. It was obviously way wrong, but I mean, I liked them at 10. So I kind of, you got a shitty line, but it didn't matter. Ohio is just a better team. Miami of Ohio is not good. I mean,
no, I'm glad you said that, Big Man, because I said that on Twitter, and some guy was like, "Oh, it's definitely due to the Ragland thing," and I'm like, "Dude, Ragland's not worth.
Ragland's not moving a line 3.5 points." I found it funny yesterday, and Donnie made good points in Ragland, but I think we overvalue Gus. I mean. It's Gus Ragland. I mean, and he wasn't going to be that healthy to begin with, even if he did play. So, yeah, I don't think it was going to move at 3.5 points. And more as you looked at it, it's when they started bringing the info out, it didn't make a lot of sense. So, yeah, I mean, the steam was way wrong.
And Donnie, do you have anything to say on that? And also a bet on our fade team from you?
Yeah, I mean, action is what it is. They're standalone games on Tuesday night, and I love the people that just dip in. They don't pay any attention to the Mac Sharps, whoever they are, and they just think there's value. And I even seen people tweeting out like, my numbers had Kent -8. Who the hell is doing your numbers if you have Kent -8 as Donnie, your real line last night? Yeah,
I got to ask you. I mean, we've watched Maction for a long time. I mean, all of us are really versed in the Mac. I've never seen a conference that goes more to the grain that the MAC has. I've just found the MAC over the years to be like on Tuesday and Wednesday. It's almost like it seems like a lock every time you play it. Every time it just seems like every favorite seems to cover. When you have a good read on a team, they usually hang. It's been very versed, I think, for a lot of years. The MAC
good teams fade bad teams. Don't overcomplicate things. Yeah,
right. Kent, and Kent State, I thought, when that line went down to 2.5, I kind of, I thought the value was kind of going. It didn't matter. Kent got crushed. But, I mean, you're right. Other than that, I mean, you just fade bad teams. I mean, Kent's bad. Bowling Green's bad. Ball State sucks. I mean, it seems pretty easy a lot of the time.
So BMOC, are you looking to lay the 23.5 with Eastern Michigan, a 2-6 Eastern Michigan?
No, because I don't think Eastern Michigan's a team that should lay a number like that. When you have a team like Toledo, yeah, I'm more comfortable. Am I going to get involved in a game? No, I'm not taking Ball State either. But I'm just saying, I don't think Eastern Michigan is a team. They kind of remind me of Army. I don't want to lay a big number with Army. I've had to live and learn with Army. They look good on paper. They'll control the clock. They'll get up big, but they're not a quick strike offense. And you're not. Eastern Michigan's the same way. They're grinded out. They're going to win the game 24-10. It's usually, weather's usually cold, it's a little, really raw. They play good defense at Eastern Michigan. I don't know that they're built like a Toledo or an Ohio. They're not a team I'm looking to lay those kind of points with. But Ball State is really, really bad.
Yeah, I thought there was more value Toledo against Ball State than Eastern Michigan against Ball State this week. And the thing is, too, with Eastern Michigan, they've had not one, not two, but 3 gut punch losses in a row. Can they keep getting back up off the mat and trying hard? That was tough last week for them against Northern Illinois. Real tough, considering they led most of that football game. And I'm just concerned about their psyche a little bit, too, this week.
I think they'll be fine. The one thing you have to remember with Ball State, and you can take it back and correlate it to Kent State last night, Eastern Michigan, to me, might be the best, if not the top 1-2 maximum third defense in the conference. You're going to get a Ball State team now that's down to their 4th string freshman quarterback who is atrocious. Yep. So let's compare him to Kent State. The one thing that you say with Eastern Michigan, they're not that impressive running the football. Ball State's offense or defense is a sieve. They have a Robock's going to be able to roll out of the pocket. They have 3 really good wide receivers. And you say, can they hang 50? They might not need to. They might get to 27 points and cover the spread. Right. Ball State is that bad on offense. So when you match them up with EMU, look at the teams that EMU has played and how well they played them. Now you're getting a severe step down in competition. Yep. These kids are going to be on national TV. There's no letdown, no gut punch from action. They're saying back home, Mom, check me out. I'm on TV this week. They're going to roll.
But Donnie,
they're going to roll them.
I agree with you. The problem is, though, they're good as a dog. I'm just not in a betting mindset to lay points.
Yeah, but Ball State, you get confused, though. Ball State and Kent State, they're not football teams.
I know that.
They just roll their helmet out and say, hey, I came to play intramural football out here. That's a 4th string quarterback on a team that barely could score 3 points with their 2nd string quarterback in. They're not going to move the football versus Eastern Michigan. They're going to go backwards all night long.
Yeah, listen, I think they could put up 13 points.
13 would be probably their record for the season. Like, what are they even average? Like 5? I mean, and again, this is EMU. We're not talking about last night. Like, Kent State struggled versus Bowling Green, one of the worst defenses in the country. Imagine like Kent State going up against a really good defense. They're going to get punched in the mouth the same way Ball State will. I'm not a big. Will I be involved in this game? Maybe not. But if you're saying it's too many points against Ball State, it's really not. Again, if the line is 23.5, if Eastern Michigan gets 24, they might cover this game.
Yeah, there's no case to be made for Ball State. The case is, can you lay this many points with Eastern Michigan? That's what it boils down to. And it is home game. It is national TV. We'll see. Maybe Ypsilanti strong on Thursday night.
Chris Creighton getting the boys fired up, man. You're going to, Ian Erickson at running back, Robach, you got Porter, you got some good wide receivers out there. They're going to be able to score because, again, Toledo's going to score on anybody. That was embarrassing what they did to Ball State's defense. But you do have a decent passing game with EMU. EMU doesn't run the ball very well, but they can pass it.
Yep.
The problem here's the one concern, Donnie. This is the only concern I have for Eastern Michigan. I don't think they haven't put up more than 28 points this year. I don't think. You got to go back to the beginning of the year. All I'm saying is when I bet a 23-point number, you basically, for me to feel, you got to be up by 30 really in that game or 35 to feel comfortable because of that back door. They don't put up that many points, Donnie. That's all I'm saying.
No, I tend to agree with you. But if you look at the overall schedule that they played, I hear you. But the one problem is, like with Ball State, with Kent State alone, it's not can they score. It's can they get positive yards on plays. Like, oh my God, like this kid is a read option quarterback freshman who can't throw the ball worth a damn. So if he's going to roll out right and left against one of the best rushing defenses in the MAC and almost in the country, based on their statistics there, they're really good. So this kid's not going to get any room. If Ball State's getting first downs, that's amazing. If they even score 3 points, that's a bonus.
I guess you're just looking for that kid because Ball State, I think the one common thing I do like about them, that running back they have, I thought he was pretty decent against Toledo. I know they got blown out, but their defense just didn't play. If they can do like a little bit of that for like a half a quarter, I get a feeling they'll cover. But you're right. You're not going to make money betting on Ball State. And Eastern Michigan is a great team against the spread. Problem is, a lot of that is against, being an underdog. They only average 20.7 points a game. I hear you. This is their first big time like step over game. But they got Central Michigan next week. They got Miami of Ohio. They got a couple tough ones coming up. I don't know, but I hear your points. Sure.
They did have a tough. They did have a tough. If you have a max schedule, like usually you get some easy ones in conference. Outside Miami of Ohio, if they even get Raglan back, that might be a tough one. But that EMU schedule is torture for them.
I mean, overall, this conference hasn't been that bad. I mean, other than like Ball State and Kent State. I mean, Buffalo's been a better football
Bowling Green
game.
Gives you a game against. At least they have some options. You're right. Yeah.
Central Michigan's been decent. I thought they would kind of fall, but it's been overall tough conference.
Yeah, Mac has been good. I mean, compared to the Sun Belt, it's night and day. It's way better than the Sun Belt. And guys, what Donnie was saying about Ball State struggling to score or Kent State struggling to score, it was Ball State you were talking about. A team total on a weekday game, you'll be able to find those at a bunch of sports books. Check out the ratings guide on SBR for 5 Dimes. Bet Online, I know they'll have them, plus other sports books as well. But guys, we got to move on from action a little bit. I don't know if we got to everyone's fade or bet on team. Do you want to go through that?
I've got one. Yeah, I've got one.
Okay,
yeah,
go for it, Ian.
I'll do both. I'll do bet on and fade. Bet on. How about the Fighting Rich Rods out there in Tucson with the Arizona Wildcats? I think it's time now. I wasn't sure right away, but I think it's time now to start taking this little Khalil Tate freight train seriously a little bit more. After what we saw last week against Washington State, it was very, very impressive. And guess what? Now you get to feast on this week here, a USC run defense that, let's be honest, it's been vulnerable all season long. They've been soft against the run. They've been bullied a little bit inside the trenches. That defensive line has battled injuries at USC for the last couple of weeks. This is not maybe the optimal matchup or the optimal time to be facing Khalil Tate right now with a USC run defense that's really, really struggled. And this could be problematic. And we're seeing Tate make strides throwing the ball downfield. He was able to connect on some big pass plays as well last week. It's time to really start taking seriously what they've done. I mean, they've been ATS machines now since this quarterback change. They're going to be going into this game full of confidence. And I think not just this week, but moving forward, Arizona's now made themselves a player here in the Pac-12 South Division. And their defense is digging in and playing a little bit better, still giving up yards. That's going to be a concern against USC, but their offense looks fantastic right now, and they're now a force in the Pac-12 South. My bet against team is, and it's completely a team that had, what did they have? National championship aspirations. Can't have that anymore. ACC, we could win that. Nope, can't do that anymore. And we're falling on our faces, and that's the Florida State Seminoles. This is a team I want no part of right now. That was a terrible effort last week against Boston College, 35-3, not good whatsoever. Do you know Florida State has not covered a point spread yet this year? They're 0-5-2 against the spread, Florida State. They had 2 pushes. That's it. It's been disastrous. Their defense has fallen off big time from where it's been. The effort on the defensive side of the football, that wasn't there against Boston College. Their running back, Dillon, did whatever he wanted to do against that Florida State team. James Blackman's been a disaster. He's sub 60% completions. Interceptions have been a problem for him. And I love some of these Florida State fans. One of them is a good friend of mine from down there. He's also a guy that's bought plays from me in the past, and he's a huge Florida State fan. He's telling me when DeAndre Francois goes down, James Blackman's fine. He's got tons of upside, tons of talent. We're just going to keep on motoring along. Excuse me on that while I choke here. No, that has not happened for James Blackman. He's been awful at the quarterback spot. Could he get better? Yes, possibly. Very well, but it's not happening right now. That was a quit effort. Quit. Quit with a capital Q by Florida State against Boston College. That was a lay down and die situation for them. They are not a team I'm looking to lay points with this week, that's for sure, against a Syracuse team that's fought hard and fought the good fight against some of the good teams. Upset Clemson, gave Miami all kinds of grief on the road, and what was a bad spot, too, for Syracuse off that monster win against Clemson. Florida State, complete fade city for me right now.
Yeah, tough to argue that one. And Donnie or Big Man, anything fade or bet on college football-wise before we break down a game?
Yeah, real quick, under the radar, the UMass Minutemen, 4 or 5 covers here. Most people think of UMass. They even took a full 21-day layoff in midseason. Most don't even know they have a football team anymore, being independent. But if you look at their past couple of games, 17-13 Tennessee. Didn't get the cover versus Ohio University, getting 5. But outside of that, -8.5 versus Georgia Southern, covered easily. Covered versus a good App State football team. They're getting 28 points here on the road. Most people say, oh my God, Mississippi State, UMass, who the hell is that team? They actually have a pretty good offense, and they might be able to be sneaky and stay within that 28 number there versus an SEC team. But going forward, I think UMass has a little bit of value because, number one, their record is terrible, but number two, they're actually a pretty decent offense. They can hang around some football games.
Yeah, they got they got some good quarterback play as well.
Ford's out, though, going forward.
Yeah, Comus was amazing the past couple of weeks. I mean, who they have? Mississippi State, then you have Maine, which obviously might not even be a line game, but then you have BYU and Florida International. There's no reason why they can't cover those last 2 games.
I hate to say it, Donnie. I agree with you in the last 3 games this season. I think they get crushed against Mississippi State.
I don't know. Does Mississippi State use this as one of those games, that layup game where you get that breather, that bye week late in the season, get your third stringers in there who haven't played all season? Yeah. And again, UMass can score. So if they're down 35 points in the fourth quarter, they can move the football and get that in under 28.
Yeah, real quick, I'll give one other one. Hawaii, they're a total fade for me. 2-6 against the spread this year. They're 0-5 in conference this year. And over the last 21 conference games, they're 4-17. They don't cover. They're 1-12. Over the last 13 ATS or against teams with losing records. They're shit. This team stinks. They don't stop anybody. They're leading wide receivers out. They can't win inside the domestic United States. They're just not good against the spread. Hawaii's a team that I think a lot of people like, but the truth of the matter is they're just not very good. I know they won a bowl game last year, big deal. This year they're dreadful against the spread, and they just don't cover in conference.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. I faded Hawaii. San Diego State really took it to them last week, big man. So good one right there. Guys.
If you're Comus and UMass, you better watch out. Comus might be in a coma after that game against Mississippi State. We might get just absolutely crushed by that Bulldogs defensive front. They're going to be coming after him in a big way. That's going to be a tough challenge for him on the road there.
Yeah, and big man, I will say this. Good point in saying Ford's out, but actually against Mississippi State and that defensive front, don't you think Comus is kind of the better profiled quarterback to be able to move around a little bit more than Ford?
Sure, but I mean, he also can't complete passes. I mean, he's 53% completion percentage. I mean, it's a huge step up in competition. But look, I mean, people will point to, well, they hung around against Tennessee. Tennessee's mindset is nowhere near what Mississippi State's is. It's in Mississippi State. It's a lot of points, though. I mean, it's 4 touchdowns. I just get the feeling this is like a 51, 13 type of game for some reason. But yeah, I mean, Comus, when you have a mobile quarterback, you can skirt out of some situations, but then you got to complete some passes, and those kids are all just faster than everyone at UMass.
Yeah, but also let me play the ultimate devil's advocate here. I mean, you're going at UMass, and who's on deck for Mississippi State? Does anybody know? That would be Alabama on deck. This is a bye week for Mississippi State, saying the big boys are coming to town next week. Let's not get hurt. Let's roll the helmets out there. Let's get this win. I'm not running my quarterback on read options late third quarter when I'm up 21 points. Let's pull out the starters. Let's have a good game plan. Bama's on deck. UMass going to get the cover here this weekend.
All right. Good breakdown. Hey, guys, let's get into breaking down an ACC game. We got Virginia Tech versus Miami. Looks like Virginia Tech is laying 2.5 down in South Florida. Donnie, let's talk about your Canes, man. Can they cover this number?
You know what's funny? The Miami Hurricanes, and last week, I'm kicked myself as well. I don't know why I just didn't autoplay the Tar Heels getting 21 points versus Miami. Miami's a really good defensive football team. They're coached really well, but this is not the Miami Hurricanes. Craig Erickson back in the day, or even, Ja'Cory Harris able to get outside the pocket and be a little bit more mobile. This team doesn't score enough points to cover a lot of point spreads. And you say, hey, Donnie, oh, my God, look at this. I mean, they're a top 10 team. They're at home. They're getting 2.5 or 3 points. Virginia Tech is the better football team coming into this game. Do I think Miami can win this football game? I absolutely think they can win because that's their MO, hanging in games late. But this is going to be the best team, the best set of athletes that they have faced. They're going to face a little resistance in this ball game. And if Malik Mosier does his normal, I suck for 3.5 quarters, but the other team's not really good and my defense is good. So if I throw one pass on a broken coverage and we hit hit a long home run, we win the football game. That's not going to take place this week against Bud Foster and also Fuentes, the offensive coordinator and head coach for Virginia Tech. Miami's going to be in for a tough one. Am I rooting for Miami here? Yes, but they are way overvalued for what they're actually doing this year. Going to be a tough one for the Canes. I'm rooting because I would love to see an undefeated Miami team play Notre Dame. That would be a lot of fun. But Virginia Tech's going to give them a lot of hell this weekend. I'm not surprised in the slightest that Virginia Tech is actually the favorite here and might pull off the win.
Ian, you agree with Donnie in the line move on the Hokies?
If I'm playing, I'm on Vaught Tech. I am. I think they're the better of these two teams. I think Miami's a team that I have not been impressed with on the offensive side of the ball. Now, Rozier's got a little bit of a banged up shoulder, but he's going to play in this football game. But not been impressed with the passing game. The running game has been solid. There's great defense, obviously. That's what Miami's hung their hat on. But they're going to be facing one of their tougher offensive challenges of the season. We thought Florida State was going to be a challenge for Miami, but James Blackman and that struggling Seminoles offense really wasn't. This will be. Josh Jackson, that offense crafted by Justin Fuente, is going to be a very tough challenge for a very, very good Miami defense, but it's one that's going to be challenged like they've faced very few of these type of challenges on that side of the ball so far this season. So let's see what they can do here. Obviously, Virginia Tech to me is a team that I think has got the potential to go in there and win this game. Miami, slinked by Syracuse, did enough to get by North Carolina, came back to beat Florida State late, although that win has got a lot of shine and luster off it with what's happened with Florida State as of late. So I've got concerns here about Miami. I know Donnie, a big Canes fan, but at less than 3, I could only look to the Hokies here.
And Big Man, you want to close us out?
Yeah, I'm on Miami. I think they win this game. I'm not impressed with Virginia Tech. Who have they beaten? No one. They've had no good wins. I mean, Miami's taking care of everyone in front of them. They're a very good defensive team. They're at home here. I like Virginia Tech. I like Jackson, but he's not Michael Vick or Gerard Evans walking through the door. I just am not that impressed with Vaught Tech. They've shut down a lot of poor defensive teams. I mean, and the one step-up game, they lose, by double digits. This is a very similar situation to me, kind of here. I mean, you got a top 10 team. They've been skating by Miami, sure, but look, I mean, I think they're the better team. They're getting points at home. I'm not impressed with the opposition. I think Miami is going to beat Clemson. I said it before. I'm sticking with it. It's come into fruition. For me right now, Miami doesn't care about point spreads. They care about winning games. All they got to do is win here. Give me Miami.
And Big Man, another ranked matchup here, the nightcap in the Pac-12, Arizona USC. Any thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I mentioned what Donnie Wright said. I mean, the number has been gone. If you wanted 10, 7.5, 8, any of those numbers, they're gone. It's a solid 7 now. And unfortunately, we're not the only people that watch college football anymore.
I took it early, Big Man. I got in on Arizona early. I knew this number was going to shoot down on the Wildcats. Everybody's loving the Tate stuff right now.
Yeah, and then that's the concern here. Everybody loves Arizona, and they saw what they did last week. I mean, it's amazing to me that they gave up 600 passing yards and still won by 20-plus points. That's amazing to me. But you look at Arizona, and I did some looking into their passing analytics, their offensive analytics. This is a huge game in this conference, guys. This is USC one game ahead of Arizona. Arizona looks like the team right now. Now you got to go in and prove it in a tough atmosphere. But I think USC is really going to struggle on the ground, defending the ground game. Arizona is number 1 in the country in rush yards per attempt, 7.26. USC allowing almost 5 yards a carry. And what you like about Arizona, I like the over in this game. That's the side I'm looking for here. I don't think Arizona's pass defense is going to have much success stopping Sam Darnold, but I also don't think that Arizona is going to have any issues not scoring here either. They score quick. Both these teams go fast. Both of them average 2.5 plays per minute, which is pretty good, pretty high. And they're also Arizona top 10 in yards per point and points per minute. They go very quick. That's stuff you're going to look for when you want to bet an over. For me, I just think both these teams offensively, I'm not sure we see a big pushback from the opposition. This should be a high-scoring game. I almost want to lean with Arizona. But for me, if I'm going to lean Arizona, I think they're going to win this game. I think USC is a bit of a fraud. Said that all year. They'll have success. It'll be a wild game. But in a game like this, you want the points. You want to take the team that's more inclined to win, and I think that's Arizona. I'll look over. USC doesn't cover point spreads, though. 7's a lot of points in this kind of game.
Yeah, they only covered at home against Stanford. That was it. I mean, they didn't cover against Western Michigan, didn't cover against Texas, Oregon State, that game they didn't cover. So, covering these kind of numbers has been a bit of an issue for them at home.
All right, guys, good breakdown. Hey, we got best bets coming up. First, just want to hit on a quick one in college football. Degenerate special here. We got Charlotte 49ers playing the Old Dominion Monarchs. Looks like Old Dominion has dropped, 6 in a row. Charlotte dropped their first 6 or 7 games in a row, then got a win against UAB, which cost me some money. But guys, just real quick down the line, any thoughts on this Degenerate special, Ian Cameron?
Not a damn thing. Although I would take points if I had to. I mean, how do you lay with Old Dominion more than a touchdown for a team on that kind of skid? That's a problem for me. But it's a game I'm staying. I wouldn't even touch this Drew with a 10-foot pole, so I'm keeping it nice and short.
Okay, Donnie, anything from you?
Yeah, at least Old Dominion can give me somewhat an athletic quarterback with 2 really good running backs in this one. Charlotte hasn't shown me anything that they can, do much about it. And I don't take, the UAB 25-24 game that they won, or maybe even they're coming off a bye at this point. It's just the Old Dominion can score in this one. I'll lean on that. Our last week's the Degenerate special was Coastal Carolina had no business laying any points in that game. They got shellacked in that one, which I called Texas State on. I'm going to go opposite and just say, in these bad games, just take the points in this one. I actually think Old Dominion, being at home in this game, is going to be able to run up some points, 35, maybe even 40 points in this one. And I don't think Charlotte's going to be able to keep pace there.
And Big Man, anything?
Both these teams awful throwing the ball. Neither of these teams get complete passes. 2 of the worst pass completion teams in the country. You're going to see a lot of runs in this game, and neither can stop the run. So, I mean, you just want to go with the better team. But I got to tell you, I mean, this Old Dominion team's been very disappointing defensively. I mean, they've given up a ton of points. But it's Charlotte. I think Charlotte's among the worst teams in the country. With all the stuff this team's went through at ODU, they've been crushed in games. I think they let their hair down, if you will, a little bit, and I think they pound Charlotte. I don't know if they'll put up 50 points, but I think they'll win comfortably by double digits. This kind of reminds me a little bit of that game last night between Bowling Green and Kent State. There's not a definitive edge really or much, but you just kind of trust that a team like Bowling Green will just kind of outclass them. They just have a little bit better athletes. Ray Lowry and Cox are really good, which is a good point by Donnie. I would lean with ODU here. I think they win by double digits. Charlotte's that bad.
There's a point I want to mention here. 15 to 20 years ago, even 5 to 10 years ago in football, when you had these Class C, Class D versus Class D teams, these like bottom feeder teams squaring off against one another, comparable foes, but you weren't sure who had the edge. Everyone would gravitate to, I want the team with the better defense. Give me the team with the better defense. That's not what I want in 2017 football. I want a team with the better offense. I want a team with a better quarterback. I want a team that can score some points, punch in some touchdowns. And we're seeing it. We saw it in Bowling Green last night. The better offense won that football game going away. I want the better offense in these games against bad, mediocre teams now in 2017 era football. It's not 20 years ago where you'd say, the better defense is going to win. That's not the case anymore.
Yeah, also, as far as Delta's making a point, they won last year 52-17. I wouldn't put much into that. I mean, ODU is a way different team than they were last year. So I think it will be 52-17, no, but I wouldn't put much stock into what happened last year in this game.
Yeah, the quarterback position alone, I know Donnie's talked on it, that it's a big drop off, but I'm with you guys. I like the Monarchs. That's the way I would go. And we've been really good on the Degenerate special, guys, as far as the majority. So I guess we'll make it 3 out of 4 on ODU. Hey, we got White Guy Video Games chiming in. Degenerate special. If you want some Degenerate stuff, he's been betting NCAA basketball on 5 dimes, the exhibition games. Have you gotten into that, Big Man?
No. You got to remember, I mean, listen, I respect his hustle there, but you're dealing with it's like any spring training or anything. I don't bet it. I mean, do I think I could win at it? Probably. I mean, Pittsburgh State is a Division II team. But no, I'm waiting for the season. I'd much rather put my time into, mapping the season out in these conferences. There's 351 teams that you have to look into. I just don't have the time to really cap Pittsburgh State to add on top of that. So, yeah, I don't do that, but hey, I wish him luck.
Yeah, and feel free to chime in. Is that a 20-cent line, by the way, White Guy Video Games? I'd be surprised if they were just charging -110 on that. But guys, hey, I think it's been a great show. Please, if you like the content we're putting out, please give us a thumbs up. Remember, we got the Breeders' Cup special this weekend. Guys, let's get into to best bets. Donnie, you want to start us off with
Yep, I'll keep it simple. I mean, I already talked about the game earlier. I talked about it as my underdog sneaky team heading down the stretch in NCAA football. I'm going to stay with it. I'm going to go UMass. I'm going to go the Minutemen, staying within 28 in this game. When you go to college, play college football in the SEC, when you're having a good football season, there's one game every single team circles the wagons for and says, this is the game I'm inviting my girlfriend to. My mom's flying in for this game. It's going to be sold out. We're going to see if we can take on the best, and that's Alabama. They don't give a damn about the UMass Minutemen coming in on a 12 o'clock start. They just want to get off the field, get injured. They want to fast forward. They want to have their piece of Alabama. Whether that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing, I know how college football team works. I know how that inner working is, saying, look, hey, man, we can't get injured. If somebody gets a little bit nicked up in the second quarter, they're coming right out because they should be able to beat UMass just by putting their third stringers in the football game in the SEC. It's all about the next week in Alabama. Give me the 28 points with UMass here to stick around in that football game. I think they get the cover here. That'll be my play of the week.
And I will jump on one thing about Donnie's point here and his play here. UMass, don't forget, they went to Tennessee earlier in the season and right down to the wire in that game.
Now, Tennessee is nowhere near.
Yeah, but Tennessee was a lot better football team early in the season,
Tennessee
too. They didn't give up on the season.
Tennessee is not coached well at all.
No. That's true. But again, Mississippi State's a lot better than Tennessee.
Touchdowns. If I was going down, if Mississippi State was laying 3.5, yeah, I don't want any piece of UMass. But it's 28 points against a team that can score. Give me it. I'll take it, man. I'll take it all day long.
I like over more than anything in that game, but yeah, it's a dubious spot for the Mississippi State for sure.
They don't want their whole goal this week is, oh my God, get me to Alabama. Who are we playing this week? UMass? Oh my God, forget about that game.
All right, Ian, what about you, man? Best bets.
Yeah, what do we have last week? Didn't we go 4-0, all of us, with best bets last week? I think pretty good. Yeah. I think we all cashed, so that was good. I had Penn State, Ohio State over the number. That was good to see. This week, we're going to go back to that well. That well where we've been drinking and some nice, beautiful wine from the last several weeks on the round table here with Best Bet. We've had them 2 of the last 3 weeks. Tom Herman in the underdog role. How the hell can I not? Texas +7. Give me it one more time. TCU off a debilitating loss to Iowa State last week. Do they get up off the mat? I don't even care if they do or not. I don't know if Kenny Hill and that offense is going to be able to move the ball enough to cover a full touchdown against this Texas defense, which week after week is getting better and better. Shut down Oklahoma State. Shut down a lot of the teams. USC, remember what they did to them earlier in the season on the road. Lost that game in overtime, but they put the clamps down on Darnold and that Trojans offense. Put the clamps down on Mason Rudolph and Oklahoma State, even though they lost that game. That Texas defense getting better. They'll keep them in the game, have a chance to win outright. Tom Herman continues to cash tickets as a dog. I think he will again on Saturday. Let's go Texas +7, round table best bet.
All right, good stuff, Ian. And Big Man, what about you, man?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it going here. I'm going to go with a play today, Champions League. I'm going to go with Real Madrid +134. All they got to do is win the game. They're plus money. There are a couple key factors here that with a team like Real Madrid, I have to bet them. Ronaldo, we know how competitive he is. One of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world. He has the lowest conversion rate in all 5 leagues out of any striker or goal scorer. That means on his shots, he's not converting at all. He's the lowest out of any goal scorer in the 5 European leagues. He reads the paper. He's not a guy that wants to be associated with things like that. He's not playing well. They're not playing well. They just lost to Girona, a team that was Division II last year in the Spanish leagues. Their awful loss. This is where Cristiano Ronaldo shines in a game like this. Add in the fact that Tottenham, the English Premier League team, has really struggled at Wembley. They're a team that has always had issues there playing at Wembley Stadium. They're not in their home stadium. Their home stadium's getting rebuilt. Tottenham also going to be without Harry Kane in this game. Harry Kane, one of the best players in the world, a guy that makes them go. It's similar to taking a LeBron James off the Cavs. There's some good players there that can probably help you score points, but Harry Kane is LeBron James. He's the guy that makes you go. He's the guy that scores your goals. You take him out with a hamstring injury, even if somehow he does play, he will not be effective. But from what I've seen, he is out for this game. Give me Real Madrid at the plus money price. I have to play this game. And also, in the first leg of this match they played, it was a 1-1 draw with Harry Kane in there. Look for Real Madrid. All for loss. All for Ronaldo playing poorly. They get the job done here today and win this game. Plus money Real Madrid, I'll take it.
All right, big man on campus in the Champions League, Real Madrid plus 134. We got Ian Cameron on Texas plus 7. Donnie, UMass plus 28. A bunch of underdogs there. I'll be the one on a favorite. We touched on it earlier in the MAC. Eastern Michigan minus 23.5. The little, what's it called? KISS. It's called Keep It Simple Stupid Betting. And that's what I'm going to do. Fade Ball State. I've been doing it for a couple weeks now. So Eastern Michigan minus 23.5 at 5 dimes and Bet Online. Guys, I guess we can close it out.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.